Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Hispanic Patriot Podcast, a podcast broadcast weekly from a secret, undisclosed location deep behind enemy lines here in the Denver metro area. We thank you for your attention tonight. Welcome to the show. We've got a lot on our plate tonight, so let's dive right in. We will have a guest tonight. We're joined by a candidate running for the United States Senate from Colorado. This race will have major implications, not just for our state, but for our country as well. And we're going to talk about the issues that matter most to Colorado voters: the economy, immigration, energy policy, and the role of government. But first, we have some news to disseminate with you. We begin tonight with a Michigan synagogue being attacked by a radical. We don't know yet who or what, but I think you've probably seen it on the news. Let's go ahead and tune into a brief video talking about that.
This active scene is specifically at Temple, Israel in Michigan right there. So we did want to share that with you. According to our Fox 2 Detroit team, Walnut Lake Road, that is where the scene is, and this is in West Bloomfield. So we're going to raise the audio and listen in to our Fox 2 Detroit team.
Above this airspace. So.
That does kind of explain why Skyfox was moving away from the scene. The last images we saw from Skyfox before the chopper had to evacuate the flight zone, the area, airspace above what is Temple, Israel, was more emergency vehicles arriving. Initially, we saw at least a couple of police cars. We saw one EMS truck, one fire truck, but then at the end, I had counted 5 police cars before Skyfox was on the way out. So it did appear that there were more officers arriving on the scene.
So a little bit of information that we do have, West Bloomfield schools, Bloomfield Hills schools are in secure mode due to this situation. Also, the no-fly zone is why our chopper shot was interrupted. We had to move away from the scene just to clear, because that's what the authorities are telling us to do. Also, Jewish organizations throughout Metro Detroit, I believe, are in a protocol to be cautious of this situation as it continues to develop. Now, when a situation happens like this and our country is in the middle of conflict like we are, it is going to have national ramifications with what is happening at that synagogue in West Bloomfield right now.
Yeah. Call, nobody in or out of your building. That's from the Jewish Federation of Detroit.
Yeah, a reporter on scene. We do have a reporter on scene. I'm not sure exactly who it is. They're saying they're on foot and on the way in. The cops, they said that the police have also stopped. They have roadblocks set up, and they are on foot heading in as well. So the active scene has stopped traffic in that area. We do have our chopper shot back, stopped in that area. Is this live or tape? Tape. This is tape. So this is the tape video that we were able to obtain before we were told to push our chopper out of the way. And you can just see the beginning of the smoke beginning to bellow, which got worse as time went on. But once again, according to one of our reporters that is close to the scene, that there are police on scene with assault rifles heading into not only the parking lot, but into that area to deal with whatever the situation is there. We're told it's an active shooter. We can or could see, this is earlier video of smoke coming from the synagogue, and there's a fire.
Okay, moving along, a little fast forward, it was determined that a individual decided to attack the building with a vehicle allegedly filled with explosives in an attempt to have a firebombing. He drove directly through the front door and down the hallway, where he was confronted by a security guard, and We don't know if there was an explosion in the vehicle. We don't know if the perpetrator was killed by the security person or whether he was killed in the explosion in the vehicle. So that's kind of an update on that, and we'll keep an eye on that news as it progresses. In addition to that, we have an active shooter that took place at Old Dominion, where a gunman opened fire in a classroom. So let's take a quick peek at that and show you what exactly was taking place there. So the situation at Old Dominion is a little bit different. In this one, there is an active shooter, or there was an active shooter.
Just minutes after the shooting this morning, to let him know he was unharmed.
About 11:05 this morning, I received a call from my son, who is a senior at Old Dominion University, informing me that there was an active shooter on campus who actually entered into his ROTC classroom and began to fire at the instructor.
Pastor Bago says his son, who we have been asked not to identify by name, told him in that short phone call that his classmates jumped on the shooter.
My son is he was very distraught and nervous. You can hear it in his voice, but he wanted to let me and his mother know that he was okay, that he was unharmed, and that he was waiting for the investigators to take his statement.
But there was one other thing his son said.
But what he said was that someone came into the classroom and asked, "Was this RTC?" And began shooting, at which time he and his fellow classmates went into active protective mode and to try their best to subdue the suspect.
It's unclear how the suspect died. Law enforcement sources tell NBC the gunman has been identified as Mohammed Baylor Jallo of Sterling. He was previously convicted of providing material support to ISIS. News 4 covered Jallo's arrest in 2016 when Jallo was 26 years old. He's a former member of the Army National Guard. Pastor Bago says his son is a senior who will enter the Army as a lieutenant after graduating in the spring.
Were left out.
Pastor Jermaine Bago says he
So there you have it, folks. We've got activity, in my opinion, from the radicals that are they're sleeper cells basically in the United States thanks to Joe Biden's open border policy. So there's a lot more to be shared about that information, and we will definitely be staying on top of it and reporting more as we go along. Now, before we begin with our guest, Dr. Janak Joshi, I just wanted to alert you, of course, and you probably already see, my intrepid co-host is rather detained elsewhere tonight, so he will not be joining with us tonight, but we wish him the best in what he's doing. And of course, Nick is running for state senate in District 11 down in Colorado Springs, so he's got his hands full. So we'll be looking out for him next week when we return with a new show. So let's go ahead and dive in with the introduction to our guest. Dr. Janak Joshi is a candidate for U.S. Senate. He is a retired physician, and he has practiced in Colorado Springs as well as in Southeast Colorado for 30 plus years. After retirement, he was elected to the Colorado State House for 3 terms. He is also a legal immigrant and has been active with the Colorado Republican Party for over 40 years. He is married to Anjana for 51 years, and he has 2 daughters and 2 grandchildren. So let's welcome into the show, the Hispanic Patriot Podcast, Dr. Janak Joshi. Dr. Joshi, how are you? Can you
I
hear
am
us?
doing very well. Thank you, Hugo, for having me on the Hispanic Patriot podcast. I appreciate it very much.
Well, we're trying to do our best to show all the candidates for the different races.
Sure.
We've been talking to governor candidates and some Senate candidates, and a few House and state House senators. We've got we've got state assembly. I'm sorry, we have county assemblies coming up now. The caucus is over, and then followed by the state assembly. And so we'll begin with you with one of the basic questions that we start with most of our, with all of our guests, and that is, why did you decide to run for the United States Senate, and why now?
Well, as I thank you for the introduction, and as you said in the introduction, I'm a legal immigrant, and this is my home and also home for our kids and grandkids and future generation. And you have seen the other side, and so when something does not work out, something you personally feel, the reason why you came here with an American dream, and you had opportunity to achieve it. And when things are not working out, you want to do something. And a lot of people talk, and we all get involved in different ways. And as you also noticed, in 2010, after retirement, I kind of jumped in the politics, and not just sitting on the sideline, but I got in the main arena and was elected to the state house for 3 terms from 2 different districts. And after 2016, I completed 6 years. And again, I was enjoying my retirement. And then, as you know, which direction our state and the country is going, and you can only sit back and watch this for so long. So finally, I saw that the opportunity has come. The liberal Democrats are just doing so many bad things that you worry about your children and grandchildren. And that's the reason I jumped back in.
It's okay. So just a quick one-parter, if you will. Is there one issue in particular that drew you or helped you, make that decision to jump into this race?
Yeah, I mean, they have been passing so many bad laws and regulations that people are getting mad, and they are kind of angry, and they're looking for leadership and somebody to take the lead to fix it. And then, as you have probably seen over the last few months, the polls are coming where people are ready for a change. And that's the reason why I decided also.
Okay. So with your medical background, what type of medicine did you practice?
I'm a nephrologist by training. And so that's the kidney disease. The surgeons are called urologists, and
Okay.
we medical doctors are called nephrologists.
Okay.
So we take care of kidney disease medically. So when people have high blood pressure, diabetes, which is very common in Hispanic community, and after having 15, 20 years, if they haven't taken good care of themselves, I mean, you end up having other complications, including kidney failure, and then you end up on dialysis.
Okay.
And I also did primary care, regular medicine too.
So, an analogy to the government bodies, if you will, you've served in the Colorado House, and Denver is the capital of Colorado, but Washington, D.C. is the capital of the nation, and a little bit different animals, if you will. A lot of similarities, but there are some differences, of course.
Mhm.
Tell us what prepares you to represent Colorado in the U.S. Senate.
I mean, a lot of rules and regulations about running the bills and following the protocols. A lot of those things are kind of similar. Uh, like you have to introduce a bill, and then the bill has to go to the committee, and then you present there and plead your case why your bill is good, and you get the majority in the committee to pass the bill. Then it goes to the full house for debate, and then for the final vote. So those are the things you learn when you are in the state legislature too.
Okay.
So that kind of prepares you, and also issues. Some issues are local, some issues are the same, like economy, rules and regulations. Some of those things are very similar, but then in Washington, D.C., it becomes a very
Yeah.
large scale. Now you are not talking in millions, you're talking
Okay.
billions.
So, not to jump ahead, but give us a sense of what the three biggest issues facing Colorado voters today. What, in your mind, what are those three biggest issues facing Colorado voters?
I think those are the very similar, whether it's a national level or local levels. I mean, right now, everybody is very concerned about economy, losing jobs, or even affordability. Those things you can put it under economy. And now, with this Iran war, I mean, people are even worried more because of the gas prices are going up, and we hope that this thing will end very soon. So that's kind of, and we could talk a little more as we go along.
So,
And I think the second issue is always the healthcare. I mean, economy and healthcare always have been there on the top two issues. They kind of flip back and forth sometimes. People are concerned about getting good healthcare. Now, Obamacare has created a lot more problems finding a doctor. If they can spend, like when I was there, we didn't get a patient out of the exam room in 5 or 7 minutes. We just did whatever it took. And now that's what they do. They only want to see you for one problem. And if you have another problem, you have to make another appointment and things like that. Plus the premiums. The premiums are going up significantly since Obamacare has come in, and people can't afford it. So again, we go back to the affordability. And then, of course, under affordability title, you have whether you can afford to own a home, or whether you can afford to send your children to a good school and get them good education, so eventually they'll have a good job. So those are the two main issues. And I think everybody is worried about crime. Everybody's worried about safety. I mean, we know in Denver how things have been, and just listening to you just a little bit earlier, look at, I mean, our schools and places of worship. I mean, they both were attacked today. So I think it's more of a family issue, and these are all three is a issue for all the families.
okay, so along those lines, maybe a little more specific solutions, but I want to ask you this question. Do you have faith in President Trump and what he's doing with Iran and these the effect that it's having right now on the oil prices? But my understanding, listening to the president and other advisors, is that this is a temporary issue, and that they're moving to control that for the people. Besides that, though, even with that, we are still 20 to 30% less than what Biden's energy policies gave us. So we're still better off, even with the Iran conflict. And I'm shying away from calling it a war because it's not a war. In a war, two people fight. This is a one-sided affair all the way, in my opinion. But we won't get into that. But just for the audience's sake, do you have faith in President Trump, number one? And number two, what do you see in specifics how you would address one of those top three issues? What specifically would you try to promote in the Senate to help with one of those issues?
Yeah, I mean, I have 100% faith in President Trump. I have supported him all along, always voted for him. And people don't look at that what he promised on the campaign trail. He has actually kept his promises. There are other things that we agree or disagree, but he had said that he would close the wall and stop the illegal immigration, which he did. And now we know that nobody is coming across the border illegally because he did what he said he was going to do. Number two, in terms of the economy, he had also said that he will try to stimulate the economy, create more jobs, and control the inflation, which he has already done too. So I think the issue will be whether he is able to stop a lot of these terrorism and all those things coming across the border. But he has to do it where it starts, and that's what we are doing right now, stopping Iran and their support to all the terrorist activity, particularly in Middle East. So I think he is keeping his promises.
Okay, so we have, I think we can agree that there are sleeper cells that have been activated now with this strike on Iran, and now we've got a new supreme leader, if you will, the son of Khamenei, whatever his name is, is now allegedly the installed new leader, but yet we hear now that he has been injured in the original strike, and in my personal opinion, I think there's a target on him now. He's not coming out in public, but it's only a matter of time before they find him and take him out as well. I think that unless there's a democratic change in the regime, so to speak, which personally I think it's going to take the armed forces and the security forces to start defecting and turning against these radical Islamists, and then the people being supported by places like the United States and other countries. We don't want to go in there with boots on the ground and do any kind of military activity that way, but we can support and potentially arm the citizens so that they can take their country back and put it where they want it to be. We don't want to be the ones, dictating what they do. But these events that have been taking place over the last few days, starting with those two young radicalized Islamists these are Americans, by the way, the two that attacked or tried to attack in New York City, and they just were so incompetent that their devices didn't work, thank God. But that's the kind of thing. And then we've got the Michigan synagogue, we've got the Dominion. We're gonna be seeing a lot more of these, I think. But I think that the Department of Homeland Security, which is now being threatened by funding, that it shows how important that department is, and how important it is for ICE to continue their campaign to rid the country of all these radicals and criminals, first and foremost, and then carrying on with others that may need to be removed. But what I'm looking at here is the public is being misinformed. So how do we make sure that the public hears the truth about what's really going on, and they don't, turn against this administration, thanks to people like CNN and others who are putting out false information? What policies do you support for the government to involve themselves in when it comes to getting out good information and stopping the propaganda? What do you see as a good solution?
Well, I mean, one of his private citizens like you, I mean, you are doing a great job of, Hugo, bringing out the truth. And you are sort of screening through so that at least people know what really is going on. And also, what you are doing is a great service, particularly to the Hispanic community, because probably they would trust you more than some others. So I think that's number one, that we as a private citizens spread the word of what is going on. From the government's point of view, I think they will do also by the news articles, and we see a lot of news conferences. The press secretary comes out and does it, and even Biden hardly did any news conferences, but President Trump has been doing quite a few. He meets with the reporters regularly, so they get to hear, as we say, from the horse's mouth directly. So those are the kind of things they have to do, and sooner or later, people will realize that who is spreading the truth and who is not.
Okay.
We have already seen some of the networks dropping their viewership because of these issues, because people just don't trust them, what they are saying anymore.
Right.
So I think we have to just keep doing what we are doing, and people like you have to do what you are doing. So maybe in the beginning, maybe there won't be as many people listening to us or watching us. But I think as we spread the word, and as people know that, these are the places we should go and listen, I think that will happen. And all the podcasts, all the YouTube video, whatever, people eventually realize, and you build your trust and credibility and these kind of things. Sometimes it takes time. Going back to the news that's coming out of Iran and all that, it's kind of interesting. I read, and I have been since I was a little child. I always read multiple newspapers in multiple languages, and I still do it today. And just now, just before I came on it, I was reading one of the Indian newspapers. And the headline was that this Khomeini guy has been hurt severely, and this Indian newspaper said he's in coma. They had to cut his leg off, and he has some liver injuries, which we haven't seen in our newspapers. So
that's interesting.
maybe he will go away on his own. Mother Nature will take care of it. But so I usually try to read multiple newspapers so you can figure out where is the truth.
Yeah, and that's interesting, because I had not heard that part.
No, I just saw it. I said, wow, I hadn't seen it anywhere else yet. I mean, this is the first time I read like it.
That would be definitely good news. Yes. Because I think there's I don't know what I would call them, a cabal, if you will, within Iran right now that is in hiding. They're scrambling. They're trying to figure out how to survive, and they're like rats in a basement. They're
Oh, yeah.
cornered. They're cornered, and they are not going to be let out.
No.
So this is encouraging to me, because I know some Iranian folks who are here in the United States that have been they were ecstatic that the president decided to take this action. And then what's funny about the whole thing is I saw I think it was a meme or a comment or something that said, funny thing, we have Iranians are now more pro-American than Democrats are.
Wow, I haven't seen that, but I
mean,
would not be surprised.
that's a fact. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't deny that, the way these Democrats react and the way they go against their own military, their own president.
Yeah.
The only one with common sense in that whole Democrat side has been John Fetterman, and he has totally shocked me as to how he has maintained his integrity. So I sent him a message. I said, you need to go ahead and switch over now. You're a Republican. You're not a Democrat.
But again, I mean, look at 80% of Americans want them to pass this SAVE Act, and Democrats are just sitting there. They don't want to do it. And I think they want to cause more pain. Look at now on the airports, the TSA lines are getting bigger and bigger, and people have to go 2 hours early at least. And some people say they have missed their flights. And now we are going into spring break. I mean, that's going to cause a huge problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a whole different animal. But let's shift over a little bit to what I call the lifeblood of the economy, and that's small businesses. What reforms would you support that would help small businesses grow and hire more workers?
I would definitely, when I was running my first campaign back in 2010, my principles were there, and they are same today. Smaller government, lower taxes, and less regulation. If you do these things, the businesses will thrive then on their own, because now they don't have to waste their energy and resources and money on complying with all these rules and regulations. And President Trump has already said that. He had said in his previous campaigns too, that he would cut down. Number two, he has always talked about bringing the taxes down, because he wants to put more money in your pocket or in the businesses for them to reinvest. And but whatever your opinion is on the tariff and all that, but we have seen that the mega movement has created an atmosphere. So now even people from outside are finally saying, okay, we'll do manufacturing or whatever within United States, so they don't have to pay tariff. And now that will create more jobs by itself. We just saw yesterday, he made an announcement about building a new refinery in Houston area for $300 billion. First one in almost 50 years.
Yeah.
So he's doing, and I would definitely support those measures and bills. We need to bring more manufacturing in United States. We have a skilled workforce. It's just with what happened, we have been losing those jobs, and unfortunately, those people lost their livelihood.
Correct. And that's one of the President Trump's flagship America First policies, and that is we want to support America first, and companies that have exported jobs and want to sell goods here, those are the ones that are getting hit with tariffs, part of them. And the other side is that people don't understand is that we've been exploited as a nation for well over half a century. Mm-hmm. And we've had, in my opinion, mostly gutless presidents who have decided that, oh, it's okay, we're not going to say anything because we don't want to ruffle feathers. Well, President Trump is great at ruffling feathers, and he's not afraid to stand up and say, no, you're not going to do that to us anymore. And this is what the people that are out there crying about, oh, tariffs hurt the consumer. No, tariffs don't hurt the consumers. Tariffs are bringing in billions and billions of dollars into our economy, which is also going to pay off the national debt. And he's working on other plans that whatever, they haven't announced it yet, but I've been reading some things about things in the works, and there's something out there that he's working on that he wants to bring in somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 trillion into the country. And if he's successful in doing that, it's going to shut up every leftist in this country. And the American people, the ones that really pay attention, will finally get the upper hand on the left wing in this country, because they are, I don't care what anybody says, but in my opinion, there are people specifically in this country and within our own government who are designed to bring this country down. They do not want to be the world superpower. They don't want to be the world leader. They think that we should be open borders and just let anything come in that, you know, that they decide is good. We had 4 years of Joe Biden, 20 million plus, in my opinion, came in to this country illegally. And now they're fighting the one agency that is tasked with removing those people. So I don't want to hear anything about that from those people. I'm sorry, I don't want to get off my soapbox.
No. But that's what it is. I mean, people don't realize because we don't teach history as much. But before we had income tax, government was run by mainly on tariff.
Correct.
And the tariff differences is between what we pay versus the other countries. Was after Second World War, we wanted to build Japan and Germany and some of the European countries. So we let them charge us more and we would give them cheaper. And that's why we built them. But now it's 70 years. I mean, now it's about time we take care of ourselves, our own people.
That's exactly what the president's message is. And some people just have a hard time, or actually, I don't think they have a hard time understanding. It's just not in their agenda. They don't want that. They want.
I mean, they know it. Yeah.
They want a one world government, and the United States under President Trump will never agree to that.
Nope.
So he's put them in their place in Davos and other places around the world, and those that say that America is not respected aren't paying attention, because every one of those leaders, for the most part, have come out and basically supported the president because he has spoken the truth. He's not afraid to speak the truth, and we need more of him, more people like him in the U.S. House and the Senate. We have a lot of cleaning up to do within our own party, and I sure hope this midterm is where it starts, because we've got special elections taking place in different states, and we've got candidates coming up that the president supports, and I hope to God those voters in those states back whatever the president backs is what I recommend backing. So the candidates are the important thing, and nobody disputes the fact that we need to keep control of the House and the Senate in the midterm, because otherwise we're going to, if we lose the House, we already know what the Democrats are going to do. So they're, we'll be doing impeachments for the next 2 years, and President Trump's agenda will come to a screeching halt. So that's how important this midterm election is. I don't care about history and how the opposing party always takes control. I don't think this is the time to be repeating that. So that's what I believe. So when it comes to a little bit about Colorado, since you would be a Colorado U.S. Senator, what is your opinion on the role that the federal government should play in protecting Colorado's water supply?
Well, I mean, here, water is a very big issue. I mean, without that, we cannot grow. And our population has grown exponentially over the last several years. We need to make sure that Colorado will get its share. There have been some of the compacts which have been done, but some of them people haven't even followed. They haven't gone back to see exactly what we had agreed back then. So I think
It's our water. So
yes, exactly.
it's Colorado's
Exactly.
water. So the
And
federal
we should be
government has
getting
played.
first.
Yes.
And I have read few things now since I started my campaign, that some of our share we are not getting it, and like in California and all that, I don't know why we don't have desalination plants. Look at right now in Middle East, almost 80 to 90% of water in all these countries is coming from desalination. That's why they were talking about attacking those desalination plants, because then they will have huge problem. So I think if California learns to do those desalination plants, they won't need our water. They can be self-sufficient very easily. And then the Western states can get their share back, which belongs to them. So I would definitely work on not just one issue, but how overall, as a big picture, we can all have enough water.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a little bit of a switch up here. We have a segment that we call rapid fire segment. Okay. And in this rapid fire segment, you will be given 10 questions.
Okay.
And you will need to answer in 10 seconds or less.
Oh, wow. That's quick.
For each one. That's why it's called rapid fire. Okay. So we're going to give you, you're going to have 10 seconds for each of the questions. So let's see how you can think on your feet. That's what this is. All right. So here we go. Number one word describing Washington politics today.
Completely.
One word.
Bad.
All right. Number two, the single biggest issue facing Colorado.
Economy.
Number three, the most important quality a U.S. senator should have.
Able to understand the issues.
Okay. Number four, one federal policy you would repeal immediately.
Obamacare.
Number five, one policy you would introduce in your first year.
Cutting the taxes.
Number six, a leader in American history you admire.
I think Trump.
Okay. Anyone else besides Trump in history?
Probably George Washington.
Okay. One thing voters misunderstand about you.
That's a very good question.
All right. We'll go to the next one. Number 8, the issue voters bring up most when meeting you.
The election fraud.
Election integrity?
Our integrity, yeah.
Okay. Number 9, one thing Washington does too much of.
Taxing us.
Okay. And number 10, one thing Washington doesn't do enough of.
I think give power back to the people.
Okay. So you think Washington politicians are power hungry?
Well, of course, we know that very well.
All right. Okay. Very good. You did well. That's not a bad it's not a bad rapid fire segment for you. So let me get a little bit into national security. In your opinion, what is the greatest national security threat facing the United States today?
Well, it's still the criminals who have come across the border that we don't even know what they are doing. I mean, look at all these incidents that are happening. And so even some of them who were brought in by the government because they were thought to be helping us, and then they come here and they completely change. They are radicalized. And I think we definitely do the vetting job a lot better than what we have been doing.
Okay. So it's a well-known fact that the public in general, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, whatever, all Americans, don't trust government very much. So, in your opinion, what reforms are needed to restore trust in government?
I think the first question then really comes, which I have always questioned. He said, who is the government? See, so when you look at it, like as Abraham Lincoln had said, I mean, government is for the people, by the people, of the people. And somewhere along the line, that whole thing was either discarded. And at this point, you can just say the government is by these, I mean, you can put all of them three together, is by politicians and the lobbyists, and all this happens. So somewhere in the process, people disappear. I think we need to bring that philosophy back, that the government works for the people and not the other way around.
Have you ever
And
seen?
if you see that, then people will trust the government more.
Have you ever watched the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington?
Yes, I have watched it more than once.
Okay.
And very interesting. And but the main thing I kind of learned, and I have watched it several years ago now, about the filibuster. And that's what he does.
Mhm.
And now that whole issue is coming up right now too. We will see what happens. But
So-
yeah, I mean, he says the same thing. And I mean, sometimes actually when I watched the first time, brought tears in my eyes that look at this person. We don't have people like him in Washington, D.C. now. I mean,
We've got a couple. I think.
yeah, but I'm in majority.
I think the one that comes to mind right now to me is Senator Kennedy from Louisiana.
Yeah.
He's probably the closest one, and I think Ted Cruz is along those lines
he has
as
tried
well.
his best, yeah.
But I think we got away from what the founders intended for people who served in government.
Yeah.
It was said that the way that the government was set up was designed for citizens, regular citizens,
right,
to step up, serve for a time, then go home and let someone else serve.
Right.
But now in today's Congress, we have career politicians. I don't believe for a second that was the intent of the founders, to have people in the Senate for 50 years.
Absolutely.
Or U.S. representatives. So along those lines, I would segue to a question that I've asked a lot of people is, would you favor term limits for senators and representatives?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for example, in Colorado, we all are supposed to be citizen legislators. So
Correct.
we only work so many days, and then we all are supposed to go back home and work so that we get the little taste of our own laws that we have been passing. Well, Congress doesn't do that. Not only that, on top of that, they keep getting all these benefits. I mean, I would be in favor of that. As soon as you come out of the Congress or Senate, you should not be receiving any of those benefits. I mean, how many people
Yep.
who actually leave their jobs gets free health care and all this other stuff?
That all comes out of our pockets.
And then,
yes.
then they all would have known what Obamacare has done outside.
All right. So we're running up against the clock a little bit, but I want to ask you this question for the audience, and that is, what distinguishes you from the other candidates in this U.S. Senate race?
Well, several things. Number one, my experience and expertise. I have been in the legislature, so I know what is going on. My background in healthcare, practicing for over 30 years, has taught me a lot about the healthcare issues. Then, being a businessman, I have been through the rules and regulations that have come across. And so I know the pain that small businesses all go through. Then, as a legal immigrant, I have also gone through, followed the legal system that is not being followed today. So I bring that knowledge with me. Then on top of that, I have been endorsed by Congressman Bob Schaefer, well respected, and a former US Senate candidate for our party. And so we are getting more and more. Representative Joanne Winsall from Adams County has also endorsed me. And the third thing is the money. We are going to need money. I have raised close to $500,000. We have about $350,000 cash in the bank. That is going to help. If I'm the nominee, we will definitely raise a lot more for sure. So when you think about put on your ballot at the state assembly, think who is electable, who can stand all the way at the end when the November 26th election happens, who will continue to fight and win against most likely Hickenlooper, who could be the nominee. And I'm the only one who can do all this. And top of that, I have worked with Hickenlooper for 6 years when I was in the House, because he got elected as a governor, I got elected as a state rep at the same time. So for 6 years, I have butted heads and brought out. So a lot of things, he was wasting taxpayers' money. I already know those things.
All right.
And any other candidate, none of them have all these qualities.
All right. So in keeping with our Hispanic agenda here, what message do you have specifically for Hispanic voters in Colorado?
Well, as I have mentioned, I had offices in Trinidad, Lamar, all those areas. So I have worked with the Hispanic community a lot, even in my dialysis center in Colorado Springs, because as I mentioned, diabetes is such a big issue. So not only I took care of them medically, but during those times I learned about their issues, their family issues, and how they came to this country, and even if their forefathers or grandfathers, whoever came, how they kind of paid their dues to make this country their home. So I'm very familiar with Hispanic communities and even people who come from Latin American countries. I have traveled quite a few countries in South America. So I have learned something about the culture from different Hispanic places. So my impression is they are very hardworking people, entrepreneur type, but we have to give them opportunities. We have to make sure the rules and regulations do not stop them from starting small businesses and bring their skills and succeed, and so
Right.
that children achieve the American dream. So I would say, look at me. I'm a brown skinned person who came here practically nothing, a suitcase and $100 in my pocket, and I worked hard. Of course, I had some education, but they bring a lot of skills. So I would say, do not give up. I am here. I will help you because I have my experience in my one generation as an immigrant. So my message is, don't give up, keep on working, and I think you will make it.
So, in your campaign trail, have you had any specific feedback from Hispanic voters?
Oh, they like it because they can relate with me a lot more than somebody else
Okay.
who is probably a white Caucasian type person. And I think that's what I am hoping if I'm the nominee, that I can bring the independents and a lot of immigrant communities that Republican Party has not been able to bring on.
All right.
And that's what would help them to win the seats. Yeah.
All right. So, we're at the closing. So, if voters remember only one thing about your campaign, what should it be?
I'm a fighter.
All right. And that's Hispanics love fighters. That's for
And
sure.
I fight for the American dream.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show tonight. We wish you the best in the campaign, and I'm assuming you're going through the assembly. Is that correct?
Yes, I have always gone through the assembly because I think our caucus system of a representative government is the same. That's why a lot of these liberals and others don't want it.
And we have some breaking news that we're going to be releasing here just in a minute or so. But I wanted to thank you for coming on.
And
Keep in touch, and we look forward to seeing you down the campaign trail. And good luck on your campaign.
thank you very much, Hugo, for having me on your show. I appreciate
All right.
it very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Take care.
All right, that was Dr. Janak Joshi, candidate for U.S. Senate in Colorado, running against probably John Hickenlooper, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But that's going to be an interesting race. We've got assembly coming up. The breaking news that I promised you, it has come across the wires. Our current chairperson, Britta Horn, has announced her resignation effective April the 17th. So that's after the assembly. So we have a lot of issues that are going to take place between now and then. And of course, that opens the door now for someone to step up and serve the Colorado Republican Party. And we hope that it's a fighter. We hope it's someone that's an organizer, someone who can raise some funds for the party, and we can move forward into the election season united as a party, and hopefully take some of these races that both statewide and national, and start chipping away at that one single party control that we've had for so long. It's been a disaster by any stretch of the imagination, and I can't imagine that if you're honest with yourself as a citizen in Colorado, that you can say that we have had good government here under one party rule. It's time to pay attention and start changing the parties and making sure that we work together for the good of all Coloradans, regardless of political affiliation. It's the one thing I think as citizens of the state we should all be able to do. So we thank you for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed the interview. Next week we will have some additional information for you. And if you're a party activist, there's a lot going on. So stay tuned to your local county assemblies and then the state assembly coming up next month. Thank you very much. Good night, and God bless the United States of America.